Welcome to the Fantasy Savvy Weekly Show with your host, Steve D'Angelo, discussing high-stakes fantasy football, NFL picks, and much more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, we are back. Fantasy Savvy Weekly Show. This time we are back for a 2025 NBA draft. The draft is going on right now. We are in round one. We're up to pick 22. We got Josh Hallman, fresh out of a tennis match. He's ready to go. He knows all the if you guys have been watching the show, he's the college basketball, college player guru. This guy studies it all. So he's going to give us a breakdown of what he likes the best, the players he likes the best, some picks that he doesn't like. We'll get into a lot of different players. If you guys want to chime in on any of the picks, you disagree with some of the picks, you love some of the picks, let us know. But let's get started. Cooper Flagg right off the bat to the Mavericks. Some say it was a conspiracy that they won the lottery. But, obviously Cooper Flagg was anticipated to be number one pick all along, and he goes to the Mavericks after, obviously they lose Luka. So he'll be paired up with Kyrie Irving next year. And that was pretty much it. I mean, Cooper Flagg, the best player in college basketball, came up short, just the national title, but a lot of great players have come up short. So any quick thoughts on Cooper Flagg before we move on here, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much a no-brainer pick here. He's so well-rounded. Great, just a superstar defensively and pretty good offensively too. I mean, it was a pretty easy selection. It is kind of weird how it all worked out for the Mavs. Those Adelsteins might have a little more control than they should over a lot of things, I think. They got big political players as well, so the owners of the Mavs. So they own a bunch of casinos. They're sketchy.
Yeah, we don't
know.
Everybody
into them, please.
Yeah, so they get Flagg. Flagg obviously was an absolute stud. Like Josh said, great defensively as well, not just an offensive player. What would you say the one weakness in Flagg's game is?
I mean, there's not much. I mean, for a guy that's that big, his versatility on offense, I mean, he's not perfect at everything. He's got things he can work on, but when he can handle, he can shoot the three, he can get to the rim, he plays so hard. His defense is basically perfect. Like I think he's one of the best defenders already in basketball, period. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a college basketball player be that advanced defensively as a freshman.
Along with his boy Malawak, who went later in the draft, also a defensive player.
And he's barely even played. I mean, I think he just picked up basketball in the last few years.
Yeah, I think they said he started when he was 14.
That's crazy.
So, what is he? 19 now?
Yeah, maybe 18.
All right, second pick goes to the Spurs. Greg Popovich. We don't know what's going on with his health, but we hope he gets okay. Dylan Harper, Ron Harper's son. Funny story is my boy lives in New Jersey, and he bought Ron Harper's house. So I think Dylan Harper actually lived in it. Yeah, Dylan Harper actually lived in that house at one point. It's a pretty big ass house, and the ceilings are kind of high, which like even in the bedrooms, which you could imagine for a basketball player. I think Ron Harper was 6'6", 6'7", maybe. So Dylan Harper from Rutgers. Again, I don't usually like to take players this high from colleges that don't really make the tournament. But,
I mean, I completely agree.
Him and Ace Bailey both go pretty high in this draft. So you don't think Dylan Harper should have went second overall?
I mean, I agree with you that when you got these two guys on the same team and they don't even get close to making the NCAA tournament, I mean, how good can they really be? It's not like the Big Ten was so good that you just couldn't make it. That's pretty bad. I mean, it's not like their teammates are hopeless either. Like it was confusing. I mean, Dylan Harper looks to me like a very high IQ, smart player. I mean, I probably wouldn't have taken him 2, but I understand. I get it. It's not horrible. Everyone seemed like they knew this was going to happen, so he was always getting picked number 2, and I really liked him in high school. Maybe it's just a bad situation, but Ace Bailey is more concerning to me because I don't know, a lot of stuff coming out around the draft about he wasn't working out for anybody, and like I don't know, a lot of question marks surrounding that guy. He's one of the biggest risks to take, I think, in this draft, just because I mean they didn't win. When you watch his tape, his highlights are insane because he's huge and he's so athletic, but like it's like he doesn't really know how to play basketball yet. So like he's getting by on just being a superior athlete, and he's got a lot of skill. I mean, he makes really tough shots, but he takes a lot of terrible shots. His defense is like he goes for the spectacular on defense. He just wants to make a big block or a big steal, and when you do that all the time, you leave the rest of your defense in a bad spot pretty often. Like you go for a block, you don't get it, somebody's wide open, easy basket. Like he does a lot of that stuff where, you know, his stats might look okay defensively, but really he's an awful defender because he's allowing his team's defense to just break down regularly. And
Yeah, and
I
he
mean,
goes to the Ace Bailey, not Ron Harper Jr., but Ace Bailey goes 5th overall to the Utah Jazz. But Dylan Harper from New Jersey, Franklin Lakes, went to Don Bosco. Usually is like a powerhouse football school.
yeah,
Um, that's where
he's real
Tommy
solid though.
that's where Tommy DeVito went. But yeah, you didn't like that number 2. We'll see.
I like
Again,
him a lot though. I like Jeremy Fears better, and he'd be a weird fit with that team. Maybe because they already got De'Aaron Fox. They're kind of in a weird spot. I probably would have traded it maybe if I was the Spurs. I probably would have looked to trade down because I think a lot of teams would have gone for Harper and they could have maybe got 2 picks out of it and ended up getting something different. But not bad. He's a great player.
So Harper, yeah, they get De'Aaron Fox, like you mentioned, Wemby, Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson, Vassell. So Spurs have a nice young team. Steven Castle, who they took last year out of UConn.
They're going to be very good for a long time.
Yeah, 100%. Dallas, to Cooper Flag now with Irving, Klay Thompson, Derek Lively, Anthony Davis. That should be a very interesting team to watch. PJ Washington.
After trading away Luka, they'll still be in the mix, I think.
All right, number 3 pick, VJ Edgecombe out of Baylor. From the Bahamas. The people on the island are going crazy. I posted on my Twitter that I said I fear that the Sixers have messed up again by taking VJ Edgecombe over Jeremiah Fears, and some lady from the Bahamas instantly got on my Twitter and said, "Oh well."
Oh well.
So I like VJ Edgecombe. I watched a lot of the Baylor games. I think Duke pretty much beat them up in the tournament, right? They had a talented team, but Edgecombe was just a freshman. He's very, very talented. Inconsistent shooter. He's got to work on his shot, but that should come. He's definitely an NBA player. I just thought Fears was the better pick. I thought Fears is just a better trajectory for success in the NBA. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, but they have Tyrese Maxey already too. So I mean, it'd be kind of weird to have Maxey and Fears playing together. They're both ball dominant players. That may be what they were thinking. Edgecombe, the more I watch him, the more I like him. I mean, he really struggled at times this year. He seemed like he was trying to figure out, like he didn't really know what to do. And maybe there were some veterans and he felt like he couldn't step in and be the leader. So he kind of tried to take a back seat, and it wasn't working out for a long time. But he's so explosive. And towards the end of the year, he started to figure it out. His ball handling got better. Like I could see, and his defense is really good, and he's very aggressive. Like I could see him turning out to be a superstar. Like I don't think he's as polished right now as Fears is, but he's got better athletic tools, and it's a big swing. Kind of fits better with the 76ers roster maybe. So if they can stay healthy, they're going to be a team with a shot at it. But they got Embiid and Paul George who are always hurt. So.
Yeah, obviously the Sixers have, the horror in the draft, years back when they traded up to take Markelle Fultz, Another guy who didn't do anything, who didn't win anything in college, and they passed on Jason Tatum, who they could have had with the number one. So we'll see how that works out between Edgecombe. But yeah, he goes along with Maxey, Paul George. Paul George has been a huge disappointment. Joe, always kind of in and out of the lineup, always coming up short. Very, very talented. And then Joel Embiid as well. All right, number 4 to your local team. Used to be local team. Con Knipple. You said you did not like the pick because you felt like there was more talented picks, before him. But Con Knipple certainly very, very solid shooter. Probably the best pure shooter in the draft. Would you say?
He's definitely up there for sure. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say there's anyone better. he's right in the mix. And I hate saying I don't like the pick because I really like him as a player. It's just when you're picking number 4, you need to be drafting an all-star with a chance to be the best player on your team and just like one of the best players in the league. I mean, that's what you're looking for. And I think he's a solid rotation player. I mean, he's a solid shooting guard. I like him. He's really tough, but like you gotta. I've been wanting to trade LaMelo Ball for the Hornets for years, and maybe a lot of people would think I'm crazy for that, but the guy just doesn't win. Like he puts up huge numbers, a lot of flashy plays, which makes him popular, but like he loses everywhere. I remember when I was scouting him and he was playing in Australia, and his team would be down 30 like every time. I'm like, how good can he be if his team in Australia is losing by 30? Like,
yeah,
and he's been losing ever since with the Hornets, and
yeah, I'm kind of with you. He's not one of those guys that makes the rest of the team better. Yeah. Brandon Miller, Con Knipple, LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges, Nurkic.
Yeah, I mean, this team really needs a big. I mean, they really need good big guys. They've got some solid wings. I'm not sure what they're doing.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be another tough season. It's not like Con Knipple's going to change the right away.
I mean, if I'm them, I'm probably trading LaMelo for a fortune, and then I'm drafting Jeremiah Fears, and I feel like you could get yourself in contention pretty quick, but I don't know. Yeah. I've given up hope with the Hornets.
But yeah, Knipple shot 40% from 3, averaged 14 a game, 4 rebounds, very, very solid, 6'7" from Wisconsin. So he ends up in Charlotte. All right, 5th pick. You already talked about Ace Bailey. You did not like him. Another guy from Rutgers to the Jazz.
I mean, I just think he has a long way to go. Like his ceiling is huge. Like if he ever figures out how to play basketball, he's terrifying because he's big and super athletic, and his shot making is like Durant-like, but he's just not. He just doesn't have the intelligence that Durant has. So he doesn't know how to play the right way. He takes a lot of bad shots. But if he ever figures it out, if somebody can teach him how to play right and he'll listen, then, I mean, he could end up being the best player out of all these guys. But I doubt he does it, though.
All right. Next up for the Wizards was a guy you like a lot from Texas. Very, very talented, athletic kid, Trey Johnson. He goes 6th to the Wizards, another team that's been in disarray for the past couple of years. They have CJ McCollum, Chris Middleton, their team just needs a ton of help. Marcus Smart, Brogdon, Bilal Coulibaly, Alex Sarr, Buck Arrington. So they pick up a good player in Trey Johnson. What kind of impact do you think he makes in his rookie season?
Yeah, I mean, I love him. I think he's one of the best scorers, probably the best scorer in this draft. He's going to be great. I mean, I think he's got a lot to learn. He's not the highest IQ player right now, but his shooting is incredible. He plays really hard. His defense is good, and you can tell he wants to be great, and I think he will. I mean, I think that's a great pick. I think he's going to be an all-star for a long time. Once he makes it, he's going to be there. And they got a lot of young players. I mean, if they can develop them all, they'll probably in a few years be in the mix for something, but they're so young, and they just keep drafting younger and younger guys. So they may be a few years away still, but they're putting together some nice young talent.
Yeah, Trey Johnson averaged 20 a game, as you can see here. 3
Yeah.
rebounds, 2.5 assists, 40% from three.
Yeah, I think
From
he's got
Texas.
superstar potential for sure.
Yeah.
If he figures out how to play really smart, he's going to be super dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, you think about like, the guy who just won MVP, just won the title, and Shea Gilgeous. Um, you know, I mean, he when he came out, I liked him a lot, but I didn't think he would ever win an MVP.
Yeah,
Um, be winning NBA titles. So like a guy like Trey Johnson has a similar athletic profile. Certainly could turn into something really really amazing in this league.
yeah,
So we'll see.
yeah.
All right, next pick. Igor Demban from BYU, straight shooter, ends up in Brooklyn. So the BYU guy.
You skipped our guy
Um,
Jeremiah Fears.
oh, my bad. Yeah, how did I miss Fears? My bad.
We've
He's even
already talked
he's,
about
he's even on our thumbnail. All right, yeah,
him. Yeah,
Jeremiah Fears, guy that I like a ton, the guy that you love a ton, ends up in New Orleans, and yeah, I mean, love this kid's game. So athletic, so many good moves, so crafty. I felt like he should have went higher over some of these other guys. So I absolutely love the pick for New Orleans. Obviously, it's been a hot mess with Zion Williamson there. He just hasn't turned into the player we all thought he could be. Really, he's shown flashes at times, but goes along with Missy and um, Deontay Murray. But they also take Derek Queen, so that's a good
yeah,
combo for the Pelicans.
yeah. I love that. Those are two of my favorite players in the draft, with Fears and Queen. I know I had Fears ranked number 2. Queen, I think I had 4. So I think they did a great job, obviously, in my opinion. Fears, I love him. He's one of the most skilled players, probably the most skilled player in the draft offensively. Just makes it look easy. Does the right thing all the time. He knows how to play. He knows what he should do, and he's capable of finishing everything, hitting tough shots. So I've heard some criticism about him not being a great 3-point shooter, but I think he's a great shooter. It's gonna come for him, and he just needs to add a little strength, which I think he'll keep doing because I think he wants to be great, and I think he'll be a multi-time All-Star as well. Same
Yeah,
with
the
Queen.
shooting. Yeah, the shooting. We'll talk about Queen now. Yeah, so they traded. They got that pick from Atlanta. But yeah, Jeremiah Fears shooting will come. By the way, he was born same birthday as me, so no wonder I love the kid so much.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, so yeah, 6'4" from Joliet, Illinois. Right outside of Chicago. There. Yeah, he's 18 years old, but he definitely plays like a crafty veteran.
Yeah, I mean he had no help on that Oklahoma team, and he dragged him to a tournament berth, and had a good showing in that first game. I think they played UConn and lost a tough one to them, but I mean he had almost zero help on that team, and that shows how good he is to me in a tough conference that he's able to drag his team still to the tournament without
Yeah.
much help at all.
And Pete Nova says, "Sup, fellas," and that he reposted his stream. Appreciate that, Pete. Thanks for chiming in. Pete's got a nice channel going on, First Read Fantasy, over there. So check him out on YouTube. All right, next pick. We love Jeremiah Fears. Again, I love him even more now that I know he has the same birthday as me. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, pairing
Eight,
him with Queen is huge. I mean, that's a great job by
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Great job by New Orleans for sure. Two really excellent picks. So New Orleans,
Mhm.
I think, is stealing the draft right now.
Absolutely.
Igor Demman, BYU. Now we talked about Kneppel, but this kid, he's got game as well. 6'8". He could shoot. He can get to the basket. He's pretty strong. So what do you like about this pick going to Brooklyn?
Yeah, I mean, he's shown you glimpses of everything. He seems like he's going to be a star a lot of times, but then other times he doesn't have the impact on the game you're expecting. Like if you look at his stats, they're weird. Like his game by game, it's like sometimes he just looks like the best player by far on the court, and he looks like he could do whatever he wants offensively. But then you look at his stat line a lot of times, and it just hasn't made the impact you wanted him to. And maybe he's just young, and because he's got a tantalizing skill set, like you say, he's huge. He handles, he hits shots, he can get to the rim. He needs to get stronger, needs to play better D, but he's capable of doing everything. So he just needs to be more consistent, and he's still very young. So these things can come. He showed a lot of promise, but the Nets are just stockpiling a bunch of young players who have a ways to go. So I'm not really sure what they're doing. They look pretty far away from competing.
Yeah, their roster is just totally out of sorts. I mean, Cam
Yeah,
Thomas, Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton. I mean, it's just brutal.
yeah,
D'Angelo
yeah,
Russell's not terrible, but yeah, I mean, Demon's a good pickup for them, but they need a ton of freaking help.
yeah.
That's
They
for
do.
sure.
They're in trouble.
Yeah, Demon only averaged 10 during the season, but he had a nice tournament. He had some big games in the tournament for sure.
Yeah,
He,
I mean, I like his future, but I think he's going to need a little bit of time.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'd probably with a guy like him, I'd be more inclined to try to trade for them in like a year or two when they haven't really done much. Because like when you're drafting a guy this high and then you have to wait like 3 years for him to be able to really make a huge impact like that. Sometimes you don't keep them that long. A lot of times they give up on the guy after a year or two, and a lot of times it just doesn't make sense to draft guys that really aren't going to impact. And I mean, he might surprise us and be able to do it, but the fact that he didn't even do it his whole like throughout his freshman year, he's kind of inconsistent. It's like he didn't always play aggressive enough to impact the game, and he would just kind of maybe sit back and pass the ball around. And he needs to be super aggressive because nobody can stop him. Like
right.
if he just
He started to do that a little bit in the tournament, but
yeah, he did. He did,
yeah,
and that's an encouraging sign. If he was
yeah.
doing it late, then maybe he was figuring it out.
All right, what do you know about this kid? I know Jay Bills was saying he liked him a lot. Colin Murray Boyles, again, another team. South Carolina was, they were a pretty decent team in the SEC, but they didn't make the tournament, right? They didn't make the tournament.
I don't even know if they won a game in the SEC. Honestly, like
Yeah, they were.
they
I mean, they were a
they were at
decent
the
team.
bottom. They were at the
Yeah,
bottom. Yeah, they weren't terrible, but that league was
yeah,
just so good that
right, right.
they may not have won a single game. Like
Yeah, I remember they played
it,
a lot of close games, but yeah, I don't think they did too well. But what do you know about him?
he's a very skilled player. He's a little undersized. It always feels weird to say that about a guy who's like 6'8" and
6'7", 240. Yeah,
yeah,
he's a big
but
dude.
like he's like played like center, but he was their big man, and it'll be interesting to see how he translates. He's very skilled though, and very aggressive, strong. It's hard. Like you said, his team wasn't very good, but he didn't have that much help, and that conference was tough. So I'll give him more of a break than I'll give the Rutgers guys, but
Okay.
because the Rutgers guys, they should have been able to be good. The two of them together, they got the point guard, so the guy with the ball all the time, and another guy. Like with him, it was just a big guy who's your best player, and you don't really have the guard help. It can be tough because you need the guards to pass you the ball a lot of times, and if they're not very good, it can be hard.
Yeah,
Um,
Colin Murray Boyles, he averaged 16 points, almost 17, 8 rebounds. So, but just
I would not have taken
26%
him
from
this high.
three. So he was basically playing center for Carolina, South Carolina.
Pretty much. I mean, he was definitely their dominant big man. This is definitely too high of a pick for me. Like, I would have never wanted to pick him this high, just because I
Yeah.
think he's a little undersized for the way he plays. I mean, he's gonna have to really probably shoot some more threes, but I mean, he's a very skilled basketball player. It's unfortunate that 6'8" range, like when you play mainly inside at 6'8", it's a lot harder to do in the NBA than it is in college. So those guys kind of have a tough adjustment in the NBA. But I think he'll probably figure it out. But it's not who I would have picked here, but he's a good player.
Pete asked us about Edgecombe. I told we were talking about that earlier, Pete, and I tweeted out that I feared that they took the wrong player. They should have took Jeremiah Fears instead of Edgecombe. And some lady from the Bahamas got on my Twitter and shouted me out. So, I like Edgecombe. I just like Fears better. So I think Edgecombe could definitely work out. And Josh brought up the point that, he kind of works better with Maxey than Fears does because him and Fears kind of do the same thing. So Anything you want to say about Edgecombe to Pete there, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, just what we already said pretty much. I mean, he's a freak athlete. He's one of the most athletic guys in this draft, if not the most. He's got a really good skill set. He seems kind of raw, like he's still working on it, but he's got scary potential. I mean, he could end up being the best player from the draft. Like, it wouldn't be shocking, but he's got more refinement to do than some of the other guys. But it's a good fit for Philly, I think. They've got their, primary ball handler point guard. Maxi's great. I love him.
Yeah, Maxi's awesome.
So I think it's a good fit with him in the backcourt there.
Yeah, I mean, I watch Edgecombe a lot. Definitely explosive. Definitely could get to the basket. His shot is just, he's got a pretty decent 3-point shot. It just needs to get a little more consistent. That's definitely is going to happen as he continues to play. 6'4", 193. ESPN here is also calling him the most explosive athlete in this draft.
Yeah, his jumping ability is crazy.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, yeah, I think it's a good pick by Philly. I would have heard somebody else. I just hope that I don't think it's going to be a Markelle Fultz type pick where they completely bomb that one. That's not going to happen here with Edgecombe.
Well, this guy Edgecombe is a phenomenal defender, and he's just so aggressive. Yeah. Like, I think he's going to be a guy who keeps getting better and better because whenever you play that hard and you're that aggressive, he's going to work hard training and he's going to get better and better. I like the pick for them. I think it was a good one.
All right, next pick. The Rockets took Malawak, but then I was like, the Olajuwon thing, but then they traded him. They traded him to Phoenix. Malawak, obviously, the guy was an absolute force. You watched him play. He was like alley-oop after alley-oop. Long as hell, 7'6" wingspan, just blocking shots left and right. So he ends up with Devin Booker now that Kevin Durant's out of the way. Jalen Green, they bring in Jalen Green in that trade, and Dylan Brooks. They get a first-round pick. I think next year, the 10th. Or was it the 10th?
It's this pick. It's this pick right here. That's
okay. Oh yeah, it was this pick, and then next year I think they get a 5 seconds next year. Is that what it is?
Yes. So this was part of the Durant trade.
Okay. So they get Malawak, Brooks, and Booker. And Jalen Green, and then they get 5 second-round picks next year. So I think it's a good trade. I think it's a really good trade because Durant's on his way out.
Yeah. You need to get rid of Durant. It wasn't working over there, and
no. I said that after last 2 years ago. I'm like, they need to break this up because this team is just because I kept betting on them based on they have Booker, Beal, and Durant. And I'm like, this team is just not performing up to their standards. They need to break this shit up. So
I think, like you said, it's great to get rid of a superstar while you can at the end of their career because you don't want to be the one that has them at the end or you can't get rid of them. And they got a good return. I mean, they're still paying him like he's better than he is. I feel like Durant is about, he's getting past his prime here. He's still going to be good to score you some points, but his time's about up.
Pete says crazy they didn't make the tournament with that talent. No. Who's he talking?
He's talking about Rutgers, probably.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, no, that's. I remember Josh was like, Rutgers has got 2 studs coming in before the season started, and I thought Rutgers was going to have to. It could just be, the Rutgers, whether it's football, whether it's freaking basketball, they always kind of suck. So I don't know.
Just cursed up there.
Maybe, but yeah, something like that.
Maybe you can blame the coaches. I don't know. I've watched some of their games and their defense was pretty bad. That's why they lost. Is their defense is horrible. And
if you were talking about something else, Pete, let us know. All right, Malawak, but what do you have to say about him? Go ahead.
I think he's got a ton of potential. Defensively, you can tell his instincts are really good. He's dominant, like you said, with the alley-oops. Duke was really good at having a few guys who could all throw the alley-oop. They could all handle a little bit, so they just kept tossing it up to him, making it look real easy. He can hit threes. I've seen his shot looks pretty good. He's very raw when it comes to any kind of post moves or, you can tell he hasn't played for very long. So, I think it's wild that guys like him who've only played for a few years get taken in the top 10 of NBA draft, which, supposed to be the best league in the world, and you're drafting people who've never even played. I remember Bismack Biyombo got drafted. He hardly ever played. I like Malawak. like he's not even my favorite center in this draft. So like I have multiple centers ranked ahead of him, including Derek Queen. But
Yeah.
like I like Danny Wolf better. I like Kalkbrenner better, and it's just because you can
They're
tell
better
he's
off.
got
They're better
yeah.
offensively. Yeah.
They've
Right
just been
now.
playing. They've just been playing basketball their whole lives, and they're extremely skilled. And it takes a long time to build that kind of skill. You can't just flip that switch and be able to do that in like a year or two. And so yeah, he'll be a better defender probably than both of them. But
Yeah.
I mean, even I think Kalkbrenner is a great defender, and he's not as athletic, but he's still pretty athletic too, and he's big. I mean, I think those two guys are really under the radar, Kalkbrenner and Danny Wolf.
Yeah, and Danny Wolf, I'm watching now. He's looking kind of nervous that he didn't get picked yet.
Yeah, they've
Um,
run out of time in this first round.
or maybe did the Nets just take him?
I don't think so.
I think the Nets maybe have taken. I don't know. But yeah, I like Danny Wolf too. Obviously, he's very skilled. Kind of reminds me of Franz Wagner a little bit. Wagner. But
That's what it looks
Malawak
like.
just seems like one of those guys is going to be kind of a little bit of a special player in the
Yeah.
NBA. I could really see him being a force, 7'1",
Yeah.
253, and if he could develop, more of an offensive game, which I think he will. It may take him a few years, but I think this was a pretty damn solid pick.
Yeah, yeah.
For the
He's got high potential for sure.
for Phoenix. All right, next guy, Cedric Coward, Washington State. They did not make the tournament. I don't know anything about this dude. You let me know. He was traded to Memphis. What do you know about Cedric Coward? 6'5", 213.
He missed the majority of the season, so
Okay, that's why I don't know about him. Go ahead.
their team wasn't any good. I mean, he only played a few games, and then he got hurt. I honestly didn't even know who he was until towards the end of the season, and I saw his name kept popping up in draft boards. So I went and looked at him, and I see what they like about him. And he's really long, just has the prototypical NBA wing body, like 6'6", really long arms, really athletic. I mean, he could do everything. He was posting people up, playing pretty strong, hitting threes. I watched him at the combine. He was, he was good. Yeah, I mean, he had a lot of hype behind him. He's one of those guys that just everything kept coming in good. I think people liked his interviews, and he was one of those guys that just kept rising and rising and rising. And sometimes, like, only playing a few games gets people more hyped about you because there's more intrigue, more mystery that they don't know what they're getting, and so they start getting more intrigued by it. And I think that kind of what happened with him. He's got all the tools to be great. I mean, the sample size is small from what I've seen of him, and so kind of a risk, but could pay off. I think he actually came from like Division II or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
he came from the Big Sky. Actually, he played at Eastern Washington.
Yeah.
And then he played 6 games last year. He averaged I think it was 17 points a game. So pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But he ends up on Portland.
Yeah, it's right around where I had him.
Traded to Memphis. And by the way, Danny Wolf goes to Brooklyn.
Yeah, I just saw that.
So I like that pick for Brooklyn. I think 2 solid picks.
Brooklyn's had 4 picks. They've had 4 picks in this draft already.
All right, next guy. We got our first Euro pick. Usually you see these European guys go a little bit earlier, but Noah Esenge. This is one of the reasons why I stopped playing fantasy basketball, because all these European guys, obviously, I'm totally dedicated to fantasy football. But we'll see if I ever get back into fantasy basketball. But if you guys are into fantasy basketball, Josh, what do you know about Noah Esenge from 6'10", 204 from France?
I think the NBA has fallen a little too in love with a lot of these foreign guys. I mean, I can see the potential there. He's really long, athletic. He's tall. He's got a big build, but like, he's raw. Like, he's not ready to play in the NBA right now, and not even close. And like, I don't understand drafting a guy like this, especially this high. Like, I don't like the pick. I mean, I think he's got potential to be good years from now, but like, he's kind of just a runner and a jumper right now to me, who is a great athlete, Probably he's not playing the same caliber athletes over there in France, so probably a lot easier for him to just get a lot of dunks around the basket, which are just not going to happen as much in the NBA. And he's going to have more of an offensive arsenal. And, defensively, he's probably got some tools to be solid, but, I just don't think he's ready right now. And too high for me.
Pete says Harper hit that shot for Rutgers against Purdue a few years ago. It's in the blood, just like his father. I just like to see Jersey represent. Good insight, fellas. Yeah, Pete, I was telling you, my boy, he bought actually Ron Harper's house. So I've been in that house. It's a pretty damn nice house. Dylan Harper was living in that house. I think he still lives in the same town. I think they just moved to a different house somewhere. But same, that's Franklin Lakes, New Jersey. But yeah, Don Bosco, I like it as well, Pete. Appreciate it, brother. All right, so again, I'm kind of with you, Josh. Like, these Euro guys, sometimes when they hit, they're amazing, but there's a lot of guys that are just go by the wayside and do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, whenever a guy like Luka gets picked, it's like everyone tries to find the next Luka for a while, and then when they just don't, then they maybe slow down on that after a while. But you can tell that everybody's trying to find that next Luka, and there's just not many Lukas out there. And it's hard to evaluate these European guys too, because the competition's so much different.
Right.
Like their style of play over there is so different from the NBA that it's really tough to see how it's going to translate.
All right, next pick. Josh loves him. I love the pick too. Derek Queen. 16 points, 9 rebounds. This guy is 6'10". He's crafty. He can shoot. So he's perfect fit for the NBA. And he was like the only buzzer beater in the tournament came from him basically, which was one of the best games in the tournament. So you talked about it a little bit, but what do you like about Derek Queen?
Yeah, I mean, he's the best big man in this draft. I think he'll be one of the best big men in the NBA after a while. I mean, he's super skilled, just great basketball instincts, knows how to play, has great feel for what he's doing out there, and he's just scratching the surface still. I mean, he's going to keep getting better, and he's already got all the skills. He could definitely be a little better defensively, but he's still pretty solid on that end too. He gets a lot of blocks. His timing's really good. He's just a winner. I like this guy. I really like what they did in this draft so far.
Yeah, New Orleans again. They get Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen. Was that the 2 picks they got?
Yeah,
right. Yeah. I love it. I love that combo there. That's gonna be fun.
If they can keep Zion Williamson on the court there.
Yeah, I'm gonna like watching them. DeJounte Murray's a good player. Jordan Poole's up and down. Hawkins, we'll see how he does. Obviously he won a national championship with UConn.
He's a great shooter.
Yeah. Zion, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. He's got some allegations against him now, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, he's had a very weird career so far.
All right, next pick, Carter Bryant from Arizona goes to the Hawks. Big, strong kid, 6'7", 215, kind of like a big body rebounder. I don't know. I mean, I think he's. I don't know. How good do you think Carter Bryant could be?
I think he was traded to the Spurs, right?
No. Yeah, you're right. My bad. Yep.
So he's going to be joining Harper and Wembanyama.
Yeah, so that's kind of
a good fit. It's a great fit with their roster. I mean, he's another guy he's a very advanced defensively, and he shoots threes pretty well, and he's super athletic. But like other than that, offensively, doesn't do a whole lot. Like doesn't really handle the ball. He's got a lot of work to do on his offensive game, but his defense is elite already, and just another good guy to grow with that core there. If he's got a high potential, so if he grows into what he can be, that team's going to be scary. We're gonna see another Spurs dynasty here in a few years, I think.
Yeah, I mean he only averaged 6 points. Like you said, did shoot 37% from 3. Good defensively, so I do think it's a good fit. Gives him another strong body, good defensive player to go with Wemby.
They got Steven Castle, who's a beast defensively too. That team's gonna be really good. And they're
Yeah, no.
really young. They're all young. So except for
Yeah,
De'Aaron Fox, he's like the one veteran now.
I mean, he's not even that old. What is he,
No,
27?
he's not that old either. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love what they're doing there. They're right back. They had a few down years, but they're gonna be right back in the mix now.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next pick up, Thomas Sorber, my guy from Georgetown, ends up in Miami. The Clippers draft him and then send him to Miami. So Thomas Sorber.
Does it say OKC on here? I'm
Oh,
seeing OKC
maybe it's a
from
double
Miami.
trade
Is that
from
right?
Miami via. Oh, okay. So it was like a double swap. So he ends up in OKC. Wow,
Huh.
that's an interesting spot for Sorber. I kind of like it
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
This Sorber was freaking one of the best big men. He got hurt early. The rest of the Georgetown roster, Ed Cooley, obviously, I hate. I've been calling for him to be fired since even before he was hired. So I'm not a big Ed Cooley guy. I'm a Georgetown fan. Sorber was fun to watch. He was definitely a force. The surrounding players around him weren't the best. And Georgetown, once he went out, Georgetown just completely fell apart pretty much. So 6'9", 260, very, very crafty, big man. What do you like about Sorber?
Yeah, so I didn't watch much of him until fairly recently because when a team's not winning, I tend to kind of ignore them sometimes. And Georgetown, I just didn't watch very much, and I'm glad I did later on. I'm glad I did a lot of research later because he's very skilled. I mean, he's a huge dude, very athletic. He passes the ball really well. Like he's got a very high potential. I see why people are drooling over him. I also like
Another
Micah
Jersey guy.
Peavy. Micah Peavy was playing well for Georgetown also.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he
I was
was.
kind of
He
surprised.
kind of fell off. Peavy wasn't that good on TCU, but he was good on Georgetown. Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised they didn't make the tournament after watching those two. I was like, man, they had more talent than I thought they had.
Well, they lost. They lost to DePaul 3 times. And DePaul's been
I
the
know.
worst team in the Big East for years. But yeah, another Jersey guy from the capital of New Jersey, Trenton, New Jersey. But keep going on about Sorber.
Yeah, I mean, I like him. It might be a little high for me just because I still like those other guys better at the center position. Like, um, you know, he not winning is always concerning to me. I mean, he's young, so he kind of gets a little bit of a pass, but it usually means that you're struggling with the intricacies of the game. Like the little stuff that most people don't notice is what you're not doing well. Like you're in the wrong position all the time, defensively or offensively. And that's the stuff that a lot of people don't notice. They see the highlight dunks and the big rebounding numbers or whatever, and kind of don't see the little things that win the games. Those are, and he's probably missing some of those intangibles right now. But high potential, could be great if somebody can just teach him all the right things and he's listening. Then he's got all the physical tools to turn into a great player. So.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like Georgetown was on its way to make the tournament, and then they had a couple like he went out, and then obviously they were a disaster. But they probably weren't. They probably would have missed the tournament. I think, or maybe just been right on the bubble, or probably would have missed even if he stayed healthy. But yeah, I like it. I think Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren gives him more depth at the center position, so it gives him another solid bench player guy, and he's got time to develop. With that team, obviously going to the champs. So
yeah, I mean, it's a good pickup. I mean, he's a big, strong guy. They need like Chet. They've got Chet Holmgren, who's he's pretty thin in there, so he's not going to be wanting to bang around with too many of the enormous guys on the other team. So it's always good to have another big body in there. You can go in and take the abuse from the other team's biggest player because that wears you down. Like Chet can't go in there and bang with these guys that are way bigger. He'll end up getting hurt. They're kind of protecting Chet with that pick.
All right. Two foreign guys in a row. First guy from China. I don't know if you know about this guy, Yang Hansen.
Yeah.
He's traded to Portland. Memphis took him. It looks like he ended up in Portland.
Yeah, so I mean, I haven't seen a ton from him. I watched him at the combine, and he didn't really even stand out that much. But then I watched some film on him from China. It looks like a superstar because he's playing a bunch of guys that are nowhere close to NBA level and just doing whatever he wants. Usually, probably being guarded by like a 6'6" guy. So he's just it's like he's playing by himself. And he had great post moves out there. I mean, he could hit threes, but it's easy when the guy guarding you just has no chance. So when he was in the combine, he didn't exactly stand out to me. So risky pick, I think. Obviously, a guy that has some skill, but Portland's in trouble too. Just a team that can't seem to figure out what they're doing. They got a lot of young guys who just aren't winning, and they're not taking the next steps. And
Yeah, I mean their roster's not bad. They get Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, Jeremy Grant's not, he's not bad. But yeah, they definitely need a lot of help as well.
Drew Holiday, that was recently, right? I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's
just a
he's kind of
team.
he's kind of past his prime, Drew Holiday, but he'll still be a solid pickup. He'll be a good veteran presence for them.
Yeah, they're a team that's just several years away still. That would be tough for me to take as a GM. Like I don't do rebuilding years well. I don't like that. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't have the patience to sit there and just be terrible for 3 or 4 years.
All right, next foreigner, Joan Behringer, ends up on Timberwolves, I guess, from Detroit via the Knicks.
Yeah,
Do you
yep.
like this guy better than the guy from China? 6'11"
Not
France.
really. No,
Not
I
really.
I didn't even have this guy in my top 60. He's just too thin, too weak. Just not enough skill offensively. He's just got a long ways to go. It's going to be years. I see what these guys are excited about when they look at a guy like this. Like he's long and athletic, and runs great, jumps high. But like he's not a great basketball player right now. And this is the NBA. You can't just step in and like you don't just get better in a year and all of a sudden you're ready.
Yeah.
He's got years to go, and by the time he's good, if he's ever good, he probably won't even be on their team. So, don't like the pick.
Don't like it. All right. So you
But
like the guy from
luckily,
China
the
a little
T
better.
Wolves have a good team, so they'll be able to survive screwing up a pick or two. But
All right. Next pick, kid that absolutely we both loved. We both picked Florida to win it all. Clayton won me some money in the players pool. I had him number 1 overall. He was the highest scorer in the tournament. This guy, if you haven't watched Clayton Jr., he's very, very solid baller, can get to the rack, great shooter, has great range. I love the pick. 18th overall. I think that's a pretty damn good spot. He's going to be on the Jazz.
yeah,
So,
traded to Utah, huh?
yeah, kind of a weird spot for Clayton going from Florida to Utah. But yeah, with Collier, Colin Sexton, Markkinen, John Collins, Kessler. So nice little roster there. Jordan Clarkson, and now Walter Clayton, who I
Yeah,
think is going to be pretty damn solid in the NBA. What do you think?
yeah. I mean, he comes in as NBA ready as he can be. I think. I mean, he completely dominated college basketball. Obviously, it was just a total hero in the tournament. Like every game, they
Clutch, yeah.
they kept getting down, and he would just go nuts, just weaving around the court, draining threes all over the place. People draped all over him. Didn't even matter. He looked like Steph Curry out there. We'll see what kind of NBA career he can have. I mean, it's hard when you're 6'3". I mean, that's just big enough to be able to really do it at the guard position. But you got to be so good when you're that small
Yeah.
to be a star in the NBA. And I mean, I think he's got a chance. But Curry, I mean, he has a lot of similarities to Curry, but Curry has put in just an unbelievable amount of work to get to be the player he is. And I mean, if Clayton's willing to do some crazy work like he has, then he's got that potential. I mean, obviously love this guy. He's maxing out for his size, but
Yeah. Yeah, we saw a couple of smaller guys like Shabazz Napier win the national title. He didn't do much in the NBA, but Kemba, he went on an unbelievable run. Obviously, winning the Big East tournament. They played like those 5. They were like a low seed. They won the 4 or 5 games in a row in the Big East tournament, and then they basically went on like an 8-9 game win streak. And Kemba had a pretty good career. So I mean, if Clayton can have a career like you would probably want him to have a little bit better career than Kemba. Kemba kind of like had some injuries down the stretch, but I think Clayton could kind of be like that, if not better.
yeah. My only concern with him is physicality. Like he's going to have to be a lot more physical than he's used to being, I think. And if he can match that, then I love the guy. He won the national championship. I think that's something that's underrated when it comes to the NBA and the draft is picking winners. Like these guys, they seem to fall in love with the guys that lost that just look like they should be good at basketball. That's been the bizarre thing about the NBA draft to me over the last 10, 20 years is these teams fall in love with just how athletic guys are rather than who's the best basketball players.
Yeah, exactly. Right. All right. Next pick. I think he also ends up on Brooklyn. Nolan Traore, guard from France, 6'3", 175. You like this pick?
Well, I do like him better than the other foreign guys that and these guys, I'll admit that I don't see as much of them as I see of the other college guys. So they're way smaller sample size. He's really quick. He can shoot. He can get to the rim. He's a good passer. Like I like his skill set, but he's very thin. I think he weighs like 175. Gonna question anybody's defense who's that small. So I think he might have a tough transition to the NBA. It might take him a little while. I wouldn't tend to draft guys when that's what I think they need is a couple years to adjust. Like I'd be wanting to draft guys I can use. And
I'm with you.
I just don't think he's quite ready for that.
Especially when you're Brooklyn. You kind of need impact guys right away.
Yeah, I just don't get it.
They got two other impact guys, but yeah, I agree with you, man. Your team your roster's shot. Keep building.
Yeah, and I look at Brooklyn. They had 4 picks in the first round, and while I like some of their guys, they're still missing an opportunity. You got to just nail it if you're trying to get back in the mix, back in contention. They did get Danny Wolf, who I like.
Yeah, they got another guy. They got another guy from Israel. We'll talk about. All right, next pick from Illinois, Kasparis Jakun Shikamahash. Yeah.
Jackachonis.
He ends up on the Heat, 6'5", 205. Illinois. They're a pretty good team, good offensive team. What do you like about him?
Yeah, I think you said it right there. Great offensive team. Like he's a very good offensive player. Defensively, a lot of questions with him. A lot of times he was just letting this guy just go right by him. Like I saw him get backdoor cut all the time, and he's just kind of standing there. And I think that was Illinois' problem is they had a couple guys doing that. So their defense was awful. But offensively, he's a very skilled player. He's got good size for a point guard. He's like a triple-double threat offensively every night. So he's got a lot of potential. He's got to get better defensively, though. That's not going to work. If he plays defense like that, his team's going to have a hard time. So he could do
he's got a lot of experience. Supposedly he played for Barcelona at the youth and senior levels. Good offensive player. Could, maybe turns into a pretty solid option for them.
He's really clutch. Like he hit a lot of big time shots. He had some huge games. He's a nice fit there with them. They got Tyler Hero, and Bam Adebayo. They're always solid. They're a solid franchise who always seems to do a pretty good job.
Yeah, Riley knows what he's doing over there for sure. So you got to think that he certainly backs this pick, which we give credence to for sure. All right. Next pick, Will Riley, another guy out of Illinois, 6'8", 186. He was traded to the Wizards.
Traded to the Wizards. Okay. Man, they've added several more players now. So the
Wizards. This pick? You like this pick?
Well, they got Trey Johnson with their first pick, right?
Yeah.
Will Riley. It's a solid pick. Again, probably not who I would have taken, but I think he's got a lot of potential. He's got size, length, athleticism. He can hit the three. He showed some glimpses of playmaking, a little bit of ball handling, but he's got all the tools to be good, but he's got a ways to go still. That team just lacked toughness.
They did. Yeah.
In defense, and he was a part of that too. And You know, he's got a lot to work with. You know, they're another potential pick where he's definitely got a chance to make a big impact. They're a very young team, so their timeline for competing seems to be a little bit down the road.
All right,
So
next pick,
kind of fits with that timeline, I guess.
Drake Powell from your Carolina Tar Heels, so you should know plenty about him. He was also he ends up in Brooklyn, traded to Brooklyn.
Yeah, so I mean, he's a guy who probably should have started from day one and played all the time for Carolina. Hold on, gotta plug this in. He at times didn't get to play early. It was kind of weird what they were doing with him in the lineup, and then he'd come back and he wasn't aggressive enough. Like he shows glimpses of being able to dominate because he's got great size and length and athleticism. It looks kind of easy, looks effortless for him, but then a lot of times he just wasn't very impactful. Like he'd play 35 minutes and get 6 points and 2 rebounds, and like, what was he doing out there? And so, I mean, he's a guy I probably wouldn't have taken him this early, but he's got all the tools. Again, you know, they're always thinking that they can teach these guys how to play and then develop them into what their potential is. So, I mean, he's got high potential, but he's got a long way to go to realize that potential.
Right. Yeah, only averaged 7 points a game. Obviously wasn't getting all the minutes, but yeah.
He got a lot of minutes later in the season, and he didn't do that much with it. And I don't know if his confidence got hurt or what, but like I think that Carolina made a big mistake, not just like playing Ian Jackson and Drake Powell like they were superstars right off the bat. Because once you tell these guys they're not a superstar anymore, they can easily lose that confidence that they had coming out of high school where they think they're the best. So if all of a sudden they're getting benched and not playing, then maybe they start questioning themselves. And I think that might have happened with both him and Ian Jackson a little bit. I think Ian Jackson's a little more confident in general, so he probably didn't hurt him as much. But I mean, he's got all the tools. Drake Powell's a great defender. He can hit the three. He's got a lot of tools to play a player.
I mean, basically, he looks like he's going to start for them next year at small forward.
Yeah.
Williams, Terrence Mann, they don't really have much else at the forward position.
I don't think he's ready to make an impact like that. He would have to make a massive jump over the summer to be able to do that because
they get Danny Wolf, Denman, Powell, and what's the other pick? A guy from Israel, I guess.
Ben Suraf. Yeah. I mean,
all right.
God, how did they end up with this many people? They have 5 players from this draft already.
Yeah, because they got Powell in a trade.
Dimon, Traore, Powell, Suraf, and Wolf. 5 players. Wow.
Yeah. All right. Next pick, Asa Newell. From Georgia. Another SEC 6'9", 224. He ends up on the Pelicans as well. So Pelicans.
I think it says Atlanta, right? I got traded to Atlanta, it says on here.
Really? I don't see that. Let me see. Hold on.
God, it would be great if he was on the Pelicans. But.
Atlanta. Maybe I got to update here. Where is he? I don't see him. I don't know. Well, if it's Atlanta or New Orleans, what do you think about him?
I really like him, especially here. I think it's a great value pick. I think I had him somewhere in like maybe the 11 range. So he's getting picked at 23. He's just really long, athletic, huge size, very skilled too. I mean, can hit threes.
You're right. You're right. Trade to Atlanta. You're right. Okay.
He finishes way above the rim, so he's a little raw. I mean, he's a freshman. He's young. His team was solid. They were a pretty good team. Not great, but I think he's got a ways to go. He's just scratching the surface of what he can be. So I think he could be a great player in this league.
Okay. All right. Next pick, Nick Clifford, Colorado State. Big, tall, athletic, could shoot the ball, could get to the rack. So I kind of like this pick. He ends up in Sacramento.
Yeah, originally picked by the Thunder. I would have loved that pick for the Thunder. I would have liked that.
6'5", 200 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a guy I think he can step in and play right away. He's NBA ready. He's an older guy. He's been in college basketball for a while. He dragged that Colorado State team to the tournament and nearly won 2 games. They won one, and that buzzer beater that Derek Queen hit was on Colorado State.
Yeah, he's 23 years old, so he's an older guy.
He put up some massive numbers. He was just a man amongst boys out there. He's a very skilled, polished player, ready to step in and play. He's probably not far away from being about as good of a player as he'll be, but he's already very good. He's a guy I would like to draft. Like, this is a guy.
Yeah, instant impact. Yeah, instant impact. Right.
Yeah.
18 and 9, 18 or 19 points a game, almost 10 rebounds a game, 1.5 steals basically. Yeah, he goes along with Zach LaVine, Malik Monk, DeMar Rose, and Keegan Murray, Sabonis. So the Kings, they traded away Fox. They showed some flashes. So Nick Clifford should be a nice ad for them for sure. I like that pick.
Yeah, interesting roster over there. But yeah, I really like him. I think
how do you like this pick? How do you like this pick for the Magic? Getting him from Denver, Jason Richardson's son from Michigan State, 6'1", a little small, 170 was pretty solid in college. What do you think?
Yeah, you said it. That's my problem with him. And I hate that I say this as much as I do. Being a short guy, I love rooting for the short guys. But man, 6'1", tough to be great in this league at 6'1". He is a very confident kid. He had some big games in college. I think he has the ability to overcome being short, but it's going to take him a few years. He's young. I don't think he'll get much playing time this year for the Magic. They've got a solid roster, so it's going to be hard to crack that and get minutes, but he's got a lot of potential.
Yeah, he averaged, and they picked up Desmond Bane, the Magic. Suggs, Bane, Wagner, Bonchero, Wendell Carter. Jace Richardson. We'll see how he fits there.
I wouldn't expect much playing time from him this year. Maybe next year he'll have to work on getting stronger, refine that game a little bit. But
yeah, they lost Cole Anthony, so maybe they maybe he's kind of the fill in there for Cole Anthony, I guess. We'll see. I think it's a decent pick at this stage, 25th overall, and they get him from Denver. All right, let's talk about the next Nets guy, Ben Saraf from Israel. You know anything about this kid? 6'6", buck 99.
I mean, like the other guys I've seen a little bit. He's a smart player. Passes the ball well, good ball handling. How's he going to translate? He's not a super great athlete.
So it sounds like you really don't like any of these European guys for the most part.
It's just tough for me to really love them very often because very rarely are they dominating so much. Like, they just have to dominate. If they're not dominating in their league over there, then I don't know how they're going to do it in the NBA. It's like your stats can't be 8 points and 3 rebounds. I don't know what his are, but a few of these guys, they're averaging 8 points and 4 rebounds in the French league. And it's like, if that's what you're doing over there,
he averaged 12 points a game. Has a lot of experience, but 12 points a game in some Israeli league or German league, I guess. I don't know.
He's a high IQ guy. I think he played with Noah Asingé too, the guy who got picked like 12 or something. The other French guy that's up there. I think he was 12th pick. Yeah. So I think they played together, and I'm watching the film, and I don't see just two guys that are absolutely dominating everybody, and I feel like that's what they need to be doing. If you're going to be coming into the NBA, this is another level. French league's great and everything, but like, these guys are the best in the world. You better be dominating those French guys if you're going to come into the NBA.
All right, couple more picks here. Danny Wolf also goes to the Nets. Very, very solid pick. 6'11", 250. Again, he could pass the ball, he could shoot, he could get to the rim, he could rebound. He could pretty much do everything for you. Instant impact player. Great pick by the Nets. So you love this pick as well.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite picks right here. Huge value at, 27th pick?
27th, yeah.
I have him 7 on my board. So
Wow.
Great pick. I mean, you watch this guy. He plays like a point guard, but he's 7 feet tall and weighs 250 pounds. He's
Yeah.
a rare breed. I mean, the only guy that can really do that is Jokic. The way he and he's kind of like faster than Jokic. He's not as
The
strong, and
question
he's not,
is why would he fall down to 27th? I mean, this happens all the time in these NBA
yeah.
draft stuff. Like
I don't
Draymond
I don't
Green was a second round pick. Like a lot of these
I don't
guys.
understand.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
weird.
his game has blown the minds of the NBA people or something. Like they don't understand because he's not supposed to be able to do what he could do at being that big. But like he handles the ball really well, shoots the three, like passes it really well, but like a polished point guard at 7 foot 250, and he plays hard. He's been a winner at Yale and Michigan. I don't get it. I don't know how he falls to 27. To me, he's in the mix for best center in the draft. And
I agree.
there's not very many good centers in the NBA. Like most of them are not great. There's like five really good centers, and then everybody else is like, yeah, just a big body in there kind of. And so I think this guy can be a top five center in the league. Like you want to get a guy like that.
All right. Hugo Gonzalez, another European guy, 6'6", 223. Do you like this guy at all from another European
Well, considering he was left out of my top 60,
guy?
I'd
He ends
say
up on Boston, by the way.
I'd say no. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see too much I liked. I watched some of his highlights. He looked very thin. Can make some shots, but it just didn't look like he's anywhere close to being able to play in the NBA to me. And Boston usually does a pretty good job, so maybe I missed something. I mean, I didn't see him that much, so I watched a little bit, and I didn't like what I saw, and didn't watch anymore. So you know.
Yeah.
He didn't impress me in the short time that I gave him. Um,
He
yeah,
only
maybe
he only averaged 11 minutes per game for Real Madrid. So I don't know what that means, but
yeah. I mean,
uh,
it is weird with the playing time overseas. Like a lot of times they don't play the young guys very much, and
mm,
I don't know. I just couldn't ever draft a guy like this in the first round because it's just way too many questions. It just doesn't look ready. Hasn't got much experience. I don't know.
yeah. All right. Couple more picks, then we'll talk about, we'll preview the second round, talk about some best available. Liam McNeely from UConn. He was hurt at the beginning of the year, came on later, but could definitely shoot the ball. He's big, 6'7", 215. He ends up on your Hornets there, Josh. What do you think about McNeely here?
Hornet.
38% from three career.
The Hornets are just funny to me. I mean, I think they were a bad shooting team for a long time, and now they're like, we are determined to be a great shooting team. They're
Yeah.
like getting a bunch of great
With
shooting, and
Knepel and McNeely, yeah.
yeah, and I
Well,
think
they want LaMelo Ball to have somebody to dish it out to.
yeah, I mean they got a lot of great shooters. I'll give them that. I mean their 3-point shooting game should be on point. McNeely, I think, is a great shooter. His percentages don't say that he is. His percentages were not very good this year, but he did get injured, and
Yeah, career 38% from three.
yeah. But when I watch him, I think he's a good shooter. I think he just didn't shoot it as well as he could this year, but I like his game. I think he's able to create for his teammates too, and he can create his own shot. He's a good ball handler. He's clutch. He likes the big shot, the big moment. Plays really hard. Yeah, I mean, I like this guy. I think he's got potential. Defensively, very limited though. He's going to have to get a lot better on defense. But he's competitive, so I think he'll try. He's got really good size and very skilled player. So I like it.
Joe Carlton says, "What up, Steve?" He said, "Aces Up was another banger tonight." Yeah, Aces Up is Joe's show where he brings in high stakes fantasy football players, and he's also going to be talking with female poker players. And Josh, I was telling you,
Oh yeah, you
yeah,
did tell me about that.
Josh is a big time poker player as well. So maybe you guys could do something in the future as well.
Yeah, I was
Talking
interested to hear
talking
about those
poker.
female poker players. There's a few really good ones.
Yeah, you'll definitely have to check that out. That's every Thursday night, or every Wednesday night rather. Today's Wednesday, right?
Where do
So
I find that?
Ace,
Aces Up.
No, that's the name of the pod. It's Sports Affiliation YouTube page.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me put it in the chat real quick.
Yeah, I've noticed there are about 3 or 4 female poker players just really, really dominating out there. And I think they can be the best because guys do a lot of stupid stuff against women when it comes to poker. So they can be really good.
Yeah, the Sports Affiliation. There's the link down there. So definitely check that out. Appreciate that, Joe. Joe, by the way, the Celtics take some Spaniard, Hugo Gonzalez. Josh does not like the pick at all. 223.
Yeah, really, really.
But we'll see.
Hopefully I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't watch him much. I watched just a little bit, and I didn't like it, so turned it off.
Yeah, and I mean, I trust Brad Stevens. I think he knows what he's doing.
He's done a good job.
Yeah.
Everybody makes mistakes, though.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, there's probably some other better picks. All right, last pick of the first round, Yannick Conan Niederhauser. I slammed that one. From Penn State, 6'11", 243. Penn State was not a tournament team. But what do you know about him? He ends up on, where the hell does he end up? I can't even tell that logo there. I don't even know where the hell he ended up.
It's the Clippers, I think.
Oh, the Clippers? Okay. Well, I should know that. I have a Clippers hat on. Go ahead.
I think that's it. Who it is. Yeah, I mean, he's a huge, athletic, big guy. Seems to be kind of the new trend of the big guys is he's not the most skilled player in the world, but he's solid. I mean, I like the pick here. I think it's a good swing. Obviously, I like Kalkbrenner more, so if you're going to take a center, I'd rather have him. But I just think Kalkbrenner's a better overall player. But Niederhauser's got a huge potential. The guy jumps really high for being somebody that's so big. He can rebound well. He's shown a little able to handle the ball. I mean, he's shown glimpses of a lot. But like you said, his team didn't make the tournament. That's always throws a flag up for me when you're on a team that didn't make the tournament because there's a lot of teams that make the tournament. So if you miss, you were pretty bad. So, but he's got a great potential.
All right, so you kind of like that pick for the Clippers late.
I don't mind it. It's not what I would have done, but I don't think it's a bad pick.
Yeah, they're getting older now. Harden and Kawhi and Zubac, Ben Simmons they got. So, the Clippers, I don't know. We'll see what they could do. They need something else, though.
They're just getting killed by Kawhi just being hurt all the time.
He was healthy. He actually was healthy this year, finally, and he had a pretty good playoffs. I thought they actually had a chance. They played pretty competitive in that first round matchup.
Did they go to 7 with Denver?
Denver, yeah. I think it went 6 or 7, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good series.
No, I think it did go 7, actually.
I mean, he's not the same as he used to be, but he's still very good.
Yeah. All right. Best available guys as we get into the second round now. Is there any guys here? You talked about Kalkbrenner you like a lot. You like Thiero from Arkansas.
Thiero I do like a lot.
I mean, I'm looking at just some names here. Kobe Bryant, I think Kobe Bryant could have some success in the NBA as a sharpshooter. Kalkbrenner for sure.
Kalkbrenner. So my top 3 here left are Kalkbrenner, Thiero, and I like this guy Rocco Zakarsky that's from Australia.
So there you go. So you got a foreigner guy that you like.
Yeah, I love him. 7'4", 258, wow. Huge guy, but he's athletic too, and he just I just see so much potential in this guy. I mean, he's really young. He's only 18 years old, but he's very aggressive. I love that when a big guy is aggressive and just tries to dunk everything. He just tries to dunk every time, and I love that. I mean, if you're 7'4", that's what you should be doing. Just try to play through everybody and just dunk on them. And that's my dream, was to be that size. That's how I would want to play. Just just savagely aggressive. And he plays like that, and he rebounds really well. He had tons of putback dunks. Like his highlight reels were just putback dunks. It was fun to watch.
There's some names here. Go ahead, keep talking about him.
Yeah, he could just be a dominant big man. man. I think his defense was really good. He was defending the rim really well. Obviously the competition not quite as good out there, but he did what you're supposed to do when you're playing against lower competition. Just stand out. It's just impossible to miss this guy. He's out here just dominating
Yeah,
everybody.
he's huge, 7'3", 257.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm really big on him. He hasn't been picked, and I had those guys ranked 8, 9, and 10 on my board. Kalkbrenner, Thiero, and Zakarsky.
how about like RJ Lewis Jr.? How about Elijah Martin? I feel like Elijah Martin's a good pick.
So I think RJ Lewis, he's a high risk, high reward pick because all that weird stuff went down with him in the tournament.
Yeah.
And I think he got a lot of negative publicity. A lot of people saying, he had attitude issues, and I think it really hurt him. Like he went to the combine and just didn't seem like himself. Like just looked depressed or something, and that's scary. Like I think when this guy plays his best, he's incredible. Like he's a top 10. He's a top 10 caliber player in this draft when he's at his best because he's super aggressive on both ends, really good at everything pretty much. But there's something going on with him, and I don't know exactly what it is, but it's a lot of red flags there. But I tend to think you can help a guy like that. Like if you got like some good psychologist on the team or something, like work with a guy like that because obviously something's wrong. And he needs help, and somebody needs to help the kid. And I think he can.
We'll see. Yeah, I hope. Yeah, I hope he's that doesn't negatively affect his career. I like Elijah Martin. He's a little small, but he's strong. And
that's my only problem with him is he's small, but he's tough, aggressive. Obviously a winner. Made the Final Four with two different teams. Got a championship. Gotta like that. I like Jameer Watkins. The guy played for Florida State. I don't know if you've seen him, but prototypical size, length, athleticism on the wing. Does everything well. Great defender. He's a guy that just people kind of missing on, I think. Because sometimes it seems like, but he was on a team that didn't make the tournament. Florida State was pretty bad, but I thought he still played well. It's just their defense was horrible, and all it takes really is one bad defensive player to ruin defense for the whole team. So he had a hard time. I like Chaz Lanier from Tennessee. I know you know him.
Yeah, good shooter. Yeah.
Johnny Broom still hasn't been picked.
Yeah, Janai Broom. I was gonna bring him up. Obviously, he could be more of like a college type player. Doesn't really have a great 3-point shot, but certainly could develop. So you think he could be solid for an NBA team?
He was dominant in college. His numbers were silly, just huge rebounding.
He was up for Player of the Year along with Flag. So
they won a ton of games. Like he's a great passer. He can shoot. He's got post moves. His defense, sometimes was okay. Sometimes it seemed a little lazy at times, but he was also injured.
Yeah, he was hurt. He was banged up. Because I remember I was watching earlier games, and he definitely had more explosiveness.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think he was injured for a lot of the year and just played through it. And I thought he was still great. I remember thinking he was done for the season at one point in the tournament, and then he came back and was great the next game. I was shocked.
Yeah, needs to work on his shot a little bit. Probably needs to get a little bit quicker. But yeah, 6'9", 250. Like you said, he's skilled all around. Can rebound, can pass, can score. But most of his scoring was like close to the hoop. So
yeah, it's true. It won't be as easy for him to dominate in the post.
No,
there'll be bigger guys with longer arms defending him regularly, that is the thing to be concerned about with him is because he did struggle a little against, I think Kalkbrenner, got the best of him, and a couple of big guys he had a hard time with. But I like him. I think he'll be a good pro. I think he should have gotten drafted over a lot of guys that did get drafted.
Yeah, you mentioned Chaz Lanier, 6'4", 206. Yeah, nice shooter. I do kind of like him. I think he could be a solid player. Also, you mentioned Jameer Watkins, 6'5", 215. Kalkbrenner, 7-footer. He could, yeah, I think he's definitely got to get picked soon. Thiero, 6'6", 218.
Theo, he kind of reminds me of like an OG Ananobi type.
Oh, well, that's solid. OG
Yeah,
was great.
and he's a beast. This guy's like
Yeah.
a physical specimen, like a 6'8", just gigantic, super athletic. Plays really hard on both ends, like tough defensively and offensively. Like his shot wasn't great. He needs to work on that three, but it looks good, and I mean, he can make them. And as strong as he is, he just plays through people, just drives to the basket, and people just bounce off him. He's so strong. Like he got hurt for a little bit of the season, so maybe that's hurting his stock. But I think it's a mistake. He's a great player to me, and I think I have him. But I have him number 9, number 9 on my
Wow.
board. Yeah,
Hero number 9. So yeah. I mean, again, the second round you find a ton of great value. So we'll see who goes tomorrow. ESPN had Maxim Reynaud as their number 1 best available.
yeah, I've got him. So I have, let's see, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys out of my top 30 are still available. So
Rasheer Fleming, is Rasheer Fleming one of them? 6'8",
no, I think he just snapped. But Maxime Reynaud is number 30 on my list. So I really liked him for a while, and then the more I watched, the more I really questioned his defense a little bit. I kind of got mesmerized by an interview he had during the NBA Combine. He's obviously like a brilliant kid, really smart. So
yeah.
I moved him like way up my board at first because I was like, this kid's a genius. He's going to be great. And then I just watch him.
So who else is in your top 30 that is still available?
So I think I have at least 2 guys who may not even get picked. It's Terrence Edwards. I know you know him for Louisville.
Yeah.
And Jemiah Neal for Creighton. Those 2 guys are the other guys that we haven't mentioned that I have.
Jemiah Neal. Yeah. I mean, he's in the draft.
I mean, he's graduated, I think. So yeah, I mean, I haven't heard anybody talk about him.
I don't even see him on the best available here list.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I like that.
I was saying I don't think either of those guys will get drafted based on what I've heard in mock drafts. But like, both of them were in Portsmouth, Virginia, the thing I go to with Jordan every year, and yeah, I mean, they both weren't like huge standouts there, but I really liked them during the year, and I think Portsmouth can be hard. It's hard to look great there sometimes, you know. Yeah. They just kind of throw a team of 8 players who've never played together at the last second and say go play. So it's kind of more like a pickup game. So
I think Grant Nelson's 6'10", 230. I think he's an NBA player to me. So I feel like
I think I've got him on here somewhere. I think he's towards the end of my list, but he's on there. Yeah, he was dominant at times. Like he would really stand out at times in college, but then it was almost weird how he wasn't always impactful like that. But he also got inconsistent minutes too. They had such a deep team that
he got hurt. He got hurt towards the end of the year too. Remember, he was questionable to come to the tournament.
Yeah, I think Alabama, they had a really hard time managing that lineup and figuring out who should be playing. Like I feel like Nate Oates never really figured it out. Right. He had too many good players and couldn't figure out who to play and when. But
yeah, then you got you got Caleb Love. Obviously, we know about Caleb Love. You know, when he gets hot, I think he could play in the NBA. So I feel like he should be drafted.
I think the problem with Caleb Love for me is I think he's a guy who needs to be the go-to player, and he's not good enough to be the go-to player in the NBA. You know, like I don't think he's a guy who's satisfied to be a backup. Like I don't think
he's the guy that like he could come off the bench, give him 15, 20 minutes and just let him shoot a bunch of times. And obviously he could kill you, but if he's hot, he could change.
My view might be unfair to Caleb Love, but like I just think that he would not buy in as a bench player. I think he would like give up probably or just like have fun, go out.
Well, I mean, then throw him on the Wizards or the freaking, one of these shitty rosters or the Brooklyn, I mean, then he could play, get more minutes.
And he also, questionable that whole thing he was involved in with RJ Davis at Carolina. It left like I'd have a hard time trusting Caleb Love at the next level to be a professional. I don't know. I think he's super skilled. He obviously just completely dominated games at times in college, hit some huge shots.
He was great in that tournament game against was it Duke, right?
Yeah. He loves
Yeah.
playing against Duke.
Yeah.
He's dominated Duke so many times, and
Yeah.
I'll always love him for that.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, I mean, throw him on one of these shitty roster teams, the Nets or the freak, like
Yeah.
Cam Thomas. Like Cam Thomas puts up 30, 40-point games. I could see Caleb Love putting 30-point game in the NBA.
Yeah, man. I just can't ever imagine him taking a bench role. So he would have to be a starter and somehow have to play well enough to keep it. And I think he makes a lot of bad decisions. He takes a lot of bad shots, and that can really just ruin a game. But his highest level is phenomenal. His A game is really good.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of intriguing guys here. A lot of guys who had a lot of success. Sears, he kind of ruined his stock down the stretch when he got rejected like 10,000 times in the game.
Yeah, I feel bad for him because he was a phenomenal college player. He's the kind of guy that it probably isn't going to work out for him in the NBA.
You mentioned RJ Davis, he was great in college, but he's undersized too.
Yeah, they're probably just both too small.
I like Kadari Richmond, 6'6", 205. What do you think about him?
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. He's not much of a three-point shooter. He really never takes threes, which is weird. But, he's going to have to figure that out. I do have him in my top 60. I think I have him at 53. Okay. So
there we go.
I haven't heard of him. I haven't heard of him really getting drafted. But.
LJ Cryer's another one. I mean, we saw how good he was playing. He can really create his own shot too. So he's just smaller, 6'1", 200.
I know it's hard to trust these smaller guys, and I hate it.
I know because
the
they're so
league's
good,
just so big, and these guys are just. It's hard when you're 6'1" and you're going up against a 6'6" guy who's, just as fast with the long arms. I mean, it's just hard for these guys to do it at that level, unfortunately.
Jackson Robinson out of Kentucky, he never was healthy.
I mean, he's got the size and the length and
top 60 there.
Yeah, he's got a lot of skill. Let's see where I've got him. I think he's in my top 60. But my question with him would be toughness. Like sometimes in the biggest matchups, he would have trouble. I think it was against Duke where he just did absolutely nothing, and that disappointed me a lot. So I have him 51 on my list. So
Joe asks, any thoughts on the Celtics reboot?
Are we frozen?
And they bring in Anthony Simons, who's he's a pretty good scorer.
Who did he get traded to? I lost you there for a second.
Drew Holiday. Remember, he got shipped out. I forget where he went. I think he was on. I don't know. We talked about it earlier. Anthony Simons. I guess Portland. I think they swapped with Portland.
Okay.
Yeah, Portland, because that's where Simons was on. So we'll see. There's rumblings now. Jaylen Brown may end up somewhere.
That Jason Tatum injury was devastating.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they have Brown and Tatum, Simons, I think, is a good pickup. Drew Holiday, he was so good for so many years, but he's older now. I kind of think he's losing his luster a little bit. But they got to get another big like Luke Cornett, Al Horford. They're kind of missing out there. Niang they bring in. But Horford's getting older too. That kind of hurt him too. Like he's way, the year before when they won the title, he was still giving them pretty quality minutes. But now he's just, he's an elder now.
If they would have just taken Ryan Kalkbrenner, it would have been great. Or Rocco Zikarsky.
Well, they got. Maybe they will. Maybe they will tomorrow. So we'll have to see.
The Hugo Gonzalez pick is very questionable. Like they really needed a big, like you're saying. You got two really good big guys right there. It's a missed opportunity, if you ask me. But
yeah, we'll have to see.
But obviously, they've got the talent to compete for years. Once Jason Tatum gets back, it might be a minute though. Those Achilles injuries are rough. Him and Halliburton, disappointing to see that.
Yeah, the freaking Achilles injuries. I mean, it's unbelievable. That ruined and they kind of ruined the playoffs a little bit. I mean, it ruined the final, the game 7 for sure. That just totally ruined that game.
Yeah.
But all right, man, this was great. Hour and a half. We went through the whole first round. We gave some best available for tomorrow. So second round should be fun. We got more big names in the mix. Maybe we'll do a post recap show. But we'll be doing, as the college basketball season gears up, we'll be talking about the different teams, the different prospects, and then we always cover the tournament. Even before that, we start talking about the conference tournament. So make sure you guys are liking, subscribing to the show. We'll be back for our usual best ball drafts, high stakes drafts. The fantasy football season is upon us. So follow Josh at Hoop Visions.
Yeah,
And
I actually posted some stuff on there recently about the
there you go.
draft stuff. My
So there you go.
rankings are on there, so
Beautiful. So yeah, make sure you follow them there. You can see
with
that down
scouting
below.
reports, I did a few reports on the guys I thought were the most underrated in the draft, which are the guys that haven't been picked. Kalkbrenner, Danny Wolf was one of them too, but I had Kalkbrenner, Thiero, and Zakarski, my three guys that I was pretty sure weren't going to get picked.
We'll see if the Celtics ends up with one, either Zakarski or Kalkbrenner tomorrow. They could have had Danny Wolf. That would have been a great pick for the Celtics.
Yeah.
But again, Stevens, we'll see. Maybe he's got something up his sleeve. We'll see what he does tomorrow. You can follow me on X at Fantasy Savvy. Again, subscribe to the show. We'll see you guys soon. Take care. Thanks, Josh, for joining me. Great for all the great information. Have a great night. We'll talk to everybody soon. Bye.
Yeah, man.